All right, welcome back to the Boondoggle Collection updates. I've got some more Boondoggles to show you. So, this is the past 10 Boondoggles that I've made most recently. So, I'm going to start off by showing you some of these that I've made based on this new concept of these star-shaped stitches. So, here's the first one. So this is a 6-pointed star stitch here. It is made with 6 pieces of gimp folded in half to create 12 working strands. The starting stitch, if you're careful about it, you can make the starting stitch look pretty cool. And then here is what the stitch itself actually looks like while you're working. So yeah, so this is the first type of 6-pointed star stitch that I came up with. And then the other type of 6-pointed star stitch is right here. It also uses 6 pieces of gimp folded in half to create 12 working strands, but it is smaller. It's a little bit of a smaller, tighter, neater project than this one. And here's how you can see the difference between the two stitch sizes and shapes here. So on the left, each color is kind of separated from the other strand of the same color, whereas on the right, the strands of the same color are next to each other together. And so, yeah, but they both create this 6-pointed star pattern. And then if you twist that 6-pointed star, this first type of 6-pointed star stitch is able to be twisted. So you do a stitch by crossing the strands instead of bringing them straight across. So as you can see, the stitch looks the same. But this is a combination of both the twisted version of that 6-pointed star stitch as well as the gradually twisted version, which is accomplished by doing 2 straight stitches and then 1 twisted stitch and continuing that pattern. So I did have a little bit of inconsistent tightening, unfortunately, with this one right here. As you can see, this section right here is a lot tighter than the entire rest of the project, which is a little bit noticeable. So, and yeah, there are a variety of factors that can contribute to that, but it is definitely a little bit annoying. Okay, and so those were all 6-pointed star stitches. But here is a project that is actually a 5-pointed star stitch. So here's the top of it compared to the top of the 6-pointed star stitch. So it's the same concept, but there are only 5 points to it. So it's so the stitch on this, it does have a finishing stitch, so I'm not able to really show you. But the stitch is kind of like this, but it's a star with only 5 points. So instead of kind of having like a hexagon-shaped hole in the middle, it has a pentagon-shaped hole in the middle. And so this is a combo of both the straight 5-pointed star stitch as well as the twisted 5-pointed star stitch. The one drawback with this stitch, kind of by nature, is how these strands do show through in the final product. And that's just because of the way that like the angles of the stitch are. It's kind of an unavoidable side effect. It's a little bit ugly in my opinion. Doesn't look very sleek. Whereas when you compare it to a 6-pointed star stitch, those kind of middle strands are still a little bit visible, but not as noticeable. Alrighty. Let's see, what should I show next? I'll show this one next. This is something new, not really related to any of the ones I've shown so far. So this is an all-black quad stitch that has an orange and yellow circle stitch wrapped around it. And this orange and yellow circle stitch is attached. I believe I did another attachment every 90-degree rotation. So once I had done enough stitching to go around 90 degrees, I attached it again to the middle quad through a single loop of gimp. And so so this circle stitch and this quad stitch, I didn't make like the entire quad stitch and then do the circle stitch around it. That's not how this works. I made them together at the same time and periodically attached them to one another so that it would create this wrapped effect. And the side effect is that I did a kind of an aggressive enough angle on the wrap to the point where it's pulling on the quad stitch and it causes it to stretch and bend and kind of gradually twist itself. So if this quad stitch were to be like perfectly straight, kind of like it's supposed to be, then it would look like this. But that's not how how this project naturally wants to stay. It wants to do that. And so anyway, but the final product still is really cool, I think, for this. And another kind of fun trick that I like to do is I like to attach the keyring through and in between the two stitches, and that creates a very secure attachment with the keyring. Next, I will show, I'll go ahead and show these two projects. So I'll show these two. So these two projects are both based on the new quadruple triangle stitch that I started doing. So here you can see what that stitch looks like. Yeah, it is 12 strands folded in 12 strands, so 6 pieces of gimp folded in half, and it creates this kind of 4x4 triangle where you have it's like a 2x2, the 2x2 triangle stitch, but it's twice as big. And so here for this project, I started with the twisted 4x4 triangle, and then I gradually twisted it gradually less and less. And so here I did only twisted stitches, and then I started doing 2 straight stitches in between each twisted stitch. And then here I started doing 4 straight stitches in between each twisted stitch. 6, 8, 6, 4, 4, 2, 2, 2, 2, and then again with just the normal twisted stitch. So it's a fully twisted that then twists gradually less and less, and then gradually more and more until the end. So that's what creates this effect. But this project actually, you'll notice, has a lot of the same colors as this one. And that, I actually can't remember if that was by accident or because I made it out of extra strands. I think it was, I just kind of accidentally grabbed a lot of the same colors because they're the same. There are a lot of the new colors of spools that I got. But this is a project that I've actually had done for a long time. I just haven't gotten around to including it in a video. As you can see, it's kind of a Y-shaped stitch. So it's like a 2x2x2 triangle in the middle. And then it has a quad stitch attached on each side. So that's what the stitch looks like. This project was super fun to make, but it also did get tedious for sure during the stitching. But I still did enjoy making this stitch, and it's a cool one. So, and this is obviously a combination of both the straight and the twisted versions of this big stitch. And then next I will show this. So this is also a project utilizing the 2x2x2 triangle, or sorry, the 4x4 triangle rather, which is like a larger version of the 2x2 triangle. So here it is a 4x4 triangle that alternates also and splits to create these 2x2 triangles in the middle with these 2 shades of brown. And then it also has some butterfly stitching with the extra strands during those segments. So the possibilities are, there are a lot of possibilities with this new kind of, well, I don't know if it's new, but if it's been done before, it has not been done very much in the boondoggle community. This larger triangle stitch. All right, I just have two more. This one I actually have had done also for a very long time. I finished this boondoggle years and years ago, but I've never shown it on a video before because, as you can see, it has this key on it and this floater, and that's because this is the key to my family's boat, my dad's boat, and so he kind of took this boondoggle from me years ago before I ever put it in any of my videos on this channel. And so it kind of flew under the radar, and I've never shown it. I've never showcased it. And so as you can see, it is a little bit dirty and worn out looking, and that's because it has spent a lot of time outside being exposed to the elements when my family goes boating. And so this is a worn out project, but it's a cool project nonetheless. So it is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 by 1 wall at the beginning right here. And then that 10 by 1 wall is joined by 4 more pieces of gimp right here to create these kind of fluted columns, T-shaped segments. And then it splits up into a fluted columns stitch on either side and a twist stitch in the middle, or a brick stitch. And these are all the gradual twist motif that, again, is created by alternating between doing 2 straight stitches and then 1 twisted stitch. And then it joins back into that 10 by 1 wall with the fluted portions, splits up again, joins back together again. So yeah, now this has finally seen the light of day on my channel. And then the last one I'll show today is this project. This is one that I created several months ago for an online competition that was happening on Instagram through Violet, I think is her name, her YouTube channel and her Instagram account. So let me put my phone back up. So the goal here obviously was to make a very weird and outrageous boondoggle lanyard. And so I tried to incorporate as many random stitches as I could. And I used as weird of colors as I could. So I used uncommon weird colors of gimp that I've not used in very many of my projects. I used this right here is two-sided gimp, where the gimp is yellow on one side and orange on the other side. And it is Rexlace brand, but Rexlace actually doesn't produce it that way anymore. And so it's out of production. It's Rexlace, but it's no longer in production. The bicolored string that they do make now is this kind with this blue and yellow, where the two colors are beside one another. But this kind where one side of the string is one color and the other side is the other color is no longer in production. But anyway, here I started off the project with a ring of butterfly stitch to attach the keyring. Just kind of to attach the keyring in a creative, random way that I've never done before. And then I started the project off. Well, I wanted to start with this 7-pointed star stitch that's right here. But that kind of seemed too scary and hard, honestly. And so instead, I started it off with this stitch, which is kind of like an hourglass-shaped stitch. It's a pretty cool concept for a stitch. It's like two by two triangles that are attached to one another. And so I've got that hourglass stitch, and then I've got this 7-pointed star stitch, which is the same idea as the 6-pointed star that I showed at the very beginning of the video here. So it's like this stitch, but it's a 7-pointed star. And so it has like, in the middle, rather than being like a hexagon, it's like a septagon. So here's a 7-pointed star. Here's a twisted 7-pointed star. Now we split into a few different things. There's this loop, kind of fishy, that is created with the square stitch. using what I believe the Boondoggle Man called the fishy method. The Boondoggle Man is a website that is no longer on the internet. But it is a website that I used to learn how to boondoggle years ago, when I was like a preteen. And then here, this section is the 2x2x2 triangle, twisted and then gradually twisted. And then this right here is a triangle stitch that also has this clearish pink strand, just kind of creating these lumps or humps. And that was kind of a new technique that I've never really done before, where there's just this one strand that's kind of just attached kind of awry. Okay, and then it rejoins into this chunk right here, which is a 3x4 stitch. And it is gradually twisted. So 2 straight 3x4 stitches and then a twisted 3x4 stitch. And then it splits into this, which this is an L-shaped stitch right here. And it's an L shape of a 3x1 wall and then a 2x1 wall connected to one another. And then right here is that a square or a triangle stitch? It is a triangle stitch. So triangle stitch and this L-shaped stitch. And then this one strand with the 3-color gimp is, again, just going crazy random everywhere. Then the stitch joins back together into a larger L-shaped stitch. This time it's a 3x3 L, so 2 super brick stitches attached to each other at the corner. And then finally, at the very bottom of this boondoggle, I have a butterfly here, and a triangle, and a twisted triangle. And so that was my entry there to that most outrageous lanyard competition. Yeah, and she said that she's going to keep doing that competition, I believe, every summer. So I am looking forward to creating, hopefully, an even more outrageous lanyard next year when the competition returns. So anyway, let me go ahead and kind of get a shot of all of these projects all together for you guys. Yeah, so thanks for watching. I really enjoy making these videos and contributing to the online boondoggle community. As usual, I can never promise how long it will be until I make another collection video, just because a lot of times life does get in the way of my boondoggling, but I will try to continue to work so that I can, so I can keep making these. So, see ya.